attention to supposedly like my ex and his mom popping up saying
Did you forget about the court documents that are publicly available? And what is supposedly Ilmao?
I'm going forward in my own life.
On top of being dyslexic, sounds like she also has trouble with directions. BC forward for her is homeless, with a bum cheating on her and 5 kids. Haha.
And then y'all keep trying to bring up my past like that is still me, and it's not me.
How is it not you? You are still tied to your past via the active marriage. You are still involved with a man who doesn't care about you or your children. Different guys, same pattern.
Anyone would put value in the words of someone who's literally rotting in prison for what my ex is rotting in there for? Like,
A boohoo like you didn't already know he was a PDF and a rapist before you got married. Now you want to bring up his record?
unless I decide to write a freaking book about my life, and at that point, then you can read my book, alright? Cool. Honestly.
Here, I'll help you out. You should title your book Mother of the Year, supposedly. A cautionary tale of a woman who fails her children to seek out fun.
Besties, gather around because the drama train carrying Stephanie Jenkins has officially gone off the rails, and we are all passengers whether we like it or not. This week, she uploaded a rant that she clearly thought was going to paint her in a strong, "I'm so over it" light, but instead, she handed her critics the biggest piece of ammunition yet. What was supposed to be a burn on Jeremiah Thompson ended up as one of her most obvious self-exposures, and the receipts? Brutal. Let's set the stage. Stephanie hit record while shoving clutter around her motel room, tossing junk under beds, and basically giving her followers a live tour of chaos. And mid-cleaning spree, mid-rant, she casually slipped into talking about Jeremiah, the man she keeps labeling her ex-husband. She repeated it like 3 times, trying to sell this version of reality where he's officially out of her life. The problem? He's not, at least not legally. Court records show that Jeremiah filed for divorce from prison, but Stephanie flat out refused to sign the papers. Translation, she still misses Thompson whether she likes it or not. It's almost cinematic, really. In one hand, she's pushing a broom, claiming she's healed and refusing to ever speak on him again. But in the other hand, literally at that same moment, she's ranting about him, calling him her ex, and dismissing allegations as rumors. Except those rumors aren't TikTok whispers. They're documented in black and white court files stamped and filed by the system itself. No gossip, no bias, just hard evidence she keeps pretending doesn't exist. Now, here's where it gets spicier. Stephanie admitted she never even watched the full documentary that covered her mess. She only peeked at a few snippets before going defensive and blocking the creator. Think about that. A documentary built on verifiable court documents exists, laid out in chronological detail, and instead of sitting down, taking notes, and maybe correcting the record, she skimmed, got mad, and covered her eyes. Childish? Absolutely, and yet so undeniably on brand.
Because I've been busy with back-to-back appointments nearly like every day of the week. Like, y'all thought we just never go to the doctor? Man, I feel like I live there. But honestly, I'm not even complaining. I actually really appreciate the medical staff at the clinic that I take my kiddos to. It's actually a family clinic that we all go to, and yeah, they're on it. They usually are very responsive when I have concerns, and they usually, direct me to the right spot, so it is wonderful. But yeah, enough on that. So I'm just gonna say this real quick, because you're not gonna catch me giving any attention to supposedly like my ex and his mom popping up saying some shit. Yeah, that's their deal. I'm not gonna give y'all any attention for that. What I am gonna say is that, y'all, I'm working on being a healed person, and y'all keep trying to bring up my past like that is still me, and it's not me. You can say you supposedly knew the person I was and the decisions I made, but bitch, you were not there, so I'm not sure how you can even claim that. And why anyone would put value in the words of someone who's literally rotting in prison for what my ex is rotting in there for, like, yeah, y'all next level fucking weird and crazy. And I could give a flying fart what his mom has to say. She has not shit to do with my life. She never did. And that's the last you're gonna hear me say about that shit, unless I decide to write a freaking book about my life. And at that point, then you can read my book, alright? Cool. Honestly, I really be trying not to give these haters too much attention, but every now and again, I gotta shut some shit down. But when it comes down to it, you can sit there and be like, she married this, and Stephanie was this, and was that. Y'all can be stuck in my past. Well, meanwhile, I'm going forward in my own life. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep going forward. Y'all can be stuck in my past. Well, meanwhile, I'm going forward in my own life.
Stephanie, we are not bringing up your past. We are bringing up your present. You're referring to your husband as your ex in prison, but he is your husband. Legally.
Me? You can say you supposedly knew the person I was and the decisions I made, but bitch, you were not there. So I'm not sure how you can even claim that.
So it is not your past, it is your present. It's not gonna be your past until you file for divorce. Or I'm sorry, until you sign the divorce papers that your husband sent to you from prison. Miss Stephanie Thompson.
Waste my time doing this, running around like a chicken with my head cut off because
This is the third cleaning video this week and the place looks like trash. There's literally just trash being thrown on the floor. I can guarantee you Stephanie made at least $10,000 this month from TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I just cannot comprehend why they are still in the hotel room. So when does CPS just let 5 kids permanently live in a hotel room? You know, in Florida, there's laws where you can't have more than 2 or 3 kids per bedroom. Why is Oregon allowing 5 children to live in a motel room? Oh, and remember, Stephanie said she wasn't going to be giving us any medical updates because of HIPAA.
I just wanted to let y'all know that I've been a little absent because I've been busy with back-to-back appointments nearly like every day of the week. Like y'all thought we just never go to the doctor.
If you don't care so much, why are you telling us? Post your stupid little cleaning videos and move on. Why are you explaining to us that you've been to the doctor all week? But my question is, for this free housing, do they not have to submit bank statements or something? If they did, it would easily show Stephanie has $5,000 to $10,000 going through her account every month, because maybe at that point it would raise some red flags, like these people are taking advantage of the system.
It's also the irony for me. She swears she's moved on, healed, and thriving, yet every single time she goes live, she drags the past with her like a well-worn blanket. She calls Jeremiah an ex like the word itself is a magic eraser, as if saying it on repeat will overwrite the courthouse records. But marriages don't dissolve because you say so on TikTok. Reality doesn't work like an Instagram filter. The license is still valid, and every day she refuses to sign those papers is another day she proves just how stuck she actually is. And what makes viewers choke on their coffee is the sheer contradiction. Healing in the internet's eyes is action, closing doors, changing environments, signing documents, moving on. Healing isn't ranting about your legal husband in a cluttered motel room while swearing you're done. That's not growth. That's a merry-go-round spinning in circles while convincing yourself it's a journey forward. Even worse, Stephanie turned this into an us versus them situation. She tried playing victim, acting as if people are blindly quoting Jeremiah like his words from behind bars are gospel truth. But no one's even doing that. Nobody's holding him up as a prophet of prison. What people are looking at are the receipts. Cold, hard, legal records, and babes, there's no block button strong enough to shut down a courthouse file. So now every time Stephanie says X, viewers see right through it. It's not a description of reality, it's her wishful thinking. She's essentially narrating the fantasy version of her life, hoping if she repeats it enough, her followers and maybe even herself will believe it. But the contrast is glaring. She talks about healing, yet she clings to the one tie that proves she hasn't moved an inch forward. And besties, this contradiction isn't just ironic, it's tragic comedy at its peak. Because the more Stephanie tries to scrub her past clean, the dirtier her present looks. While she pushes trash around her motel floor, she's also pushing denial around her narrative, hoping no one notices. Spoiler alert, everyone notices. The internet always notices. And yet the most shocking part of the saga is that every single contradiction, every self-sabotage, every slip-up is being broadcast by Stephanie herself. She doesn't even have to be exposed by anyone else anymore. She's doing it live and handing her critics the rope. And here's where the delusion just leapt off the screen, besties, because people aren't siding with Jeremiah, they're siding with receipts, court stamps, black and white paperwork that does not bend under sass or spin. It's almost tragic when you think about it. She really doesn't seem to get that she's not battling haters or creators who are out to get her. She's up against legal documents, and guess what? Paperwork doesn't care about your rebrand. It doesn't care about plot twists or YouTube rants. Paperwork just sits there, stone cold, silently screaming facts. And every time she tries to argue with it, she makes the gap between her story and reality even wider. And then came the next messy twist. Stephanie tried to brush off Jeremiah's mother, acting like she was some stranger off the street who had zero relevance. Sis, no! Legally, until that pen hits the divorce papers, that woman is still her mother-in-law. Family ties don't just evaporate because Stephanie announces they're canceled. The gag? Stephanie went into full defensive mode over what she thought was a fresh attack from Jeremiah's mom.
So there was Jenkins' recent video where she was cleaning up and she had the baby outside in a pack and play outside. I don't know where she's at, but it's getting pretty cold where I'm at. And she just posted a video, I think yesterday, of her cleaning up, and the video today was an absolute disaster. That probably took about 2 business days to clean up, literally. I don't know why it seems like she's always posting like cleaning videos, like once a day, every other day, but every single time she does it, it's a complete disaster. I don't know about her or other people, but I teach my kids to clean up after themselves. Like, you get trash right there, you pick it up. You make a mess, you clean it up. You're doing your chores. Like, it doesn't seem like she's doing any of that over there.
Attention to supposedly like my ex and his mom popping up saying
Did you forget about the court documents that are publicly available? And what is supposedly a Mao?
I'm going forward in my own life.
On top of being dyslexic, sounds like she also has trouble with directions. BC forward for her is homeless, with a bum cheating on her and 5 kids. Haha.
And then y'all keep trying to bring up my past like that is still me, and it's not me.
How is it not you? You are still tied to your past via the active marriage. You are still involved with a man who doesn't care about you or your children. Different guys, same pattern.
Anyone would put value in the words of someone who's literally rotting in prison for what my ex is rotting in there for? Like,
A boohoo like you didn't already know he was a PDF and a rapist before you got married. Now you want to bring up his record?
unless I decide to write a freaking book about my life, and at that point, then you can read my book, alright? Cool. Honestly.
Here, I'll help you out. You should title your book Mother of the Year, supposedly. A cautionary tale of a woman who fails her children to seek out fun.
But the truth, she wasn't even reacting to anything new at all. She was screaming at ghosts, panicking over testimony from years ago that had resurfaced through official documents. That's what makes it feel so chaotic. She wasn't just defensive, she was misinformed from the jump. The whole thing was Stephanie. Loud in tone, combative in delivery, and completely off base in substance. It's like watching someone argue with shadows while swearing the light is on. And that, besties, is where the cracks in her whole healing journey shine through. She preaches about being transformed, being done with Jeremiah, being stronger, but in practice, she's still legally wrapped up in his world. She refuses to sign the one form that would actually cut the cord, which means the shadow of that marriage hangs over everything. She talks about moving forward, yet she's still in the same motel, in the same filth, dragging her kids through the same chaos. She said she's healed, but her actions say she's stuck in place, masked on, pretending it's progress. And besties, we need to talk about that wild moment. The internet couldn't stop replaying the clip of Stephanie leaving a baby in a pack and play outside by the dumpster while she cleaned indoors. Yes, you heard that right. Baby in a playpen next to the trash cans while mama filmed her performance for TikTok and laughed off critics. When that surfaced, viewers didn't just raise eyebrows, they hit full panic mode. Comment sections lit up with people worrying, speculating about child services, and dragging her parenting in ways that made messy feel like an understatement.